What is up, folks? My name is Smoothum16 and welcome today to Dear Esther. This is the Landmark Edition. It's been on my list for a while to play and I want to try and get through everything. So I thought, you know, I'm going to go into it. It's not... I don't really want director's commentary. I'm just going to start off. It is an immersive walking simulator. I'm not sure there's any horror elements. I don't think there is.
Dear Esther, the morning after I was washed ashore, salt in my ears, sand in my mouth, and the waves always at my ankles, I felt as though everything had conspired to this one last shipwreck. I remembered nothing but water, stones in my belly and my shoes, threatening to drag me under to where only the most listless of creatures swim.
Okay. Dirty toilet. I'm assuming if that's your boat, mate, it's a bit small for Hebridean history, eh? In the Hebrides? Okay. Yes, it is a walking simulator. It is a visual novel. Apparently, like I said, it has been... I can't run. That's going to make this playthrough longer. I'm going to get it done in 2. I don't want to... I said I don't want to. I'm still trying to not make too long a video so you get bored of watching it, but you know, for these ones where I want to go up, so you can maybe get done in 1, yeah, I'm doing it in 2. That was the lighthouse. Do I go up the lighthouse? Does it tell me what I'm doing? I see a radio tower in the distance. I guess I keep going that way until told otherwise, like that, and I can't. Scooch. I'm not entirely sure the full story is.
Reported the legend of the hermit, a holy man who sought solitude in its most pure form. Allegedly, he rode here from the mainland in a boat without a bottom, so all the creatures of the sea could rise at night to converse with him. How disappointed he must have been with their chatter. Perhaps now, when all that haunts the ocean is the rubbish dumped from the tankers, he'd find more peace. They say he threw his arms wide in a valley on the south side, and the cliff opened up to provide him shelter. They say he died of fever 116 years later. The shepherds left gifts for him at the mouth of the cave, but Donnelly records they never claimed to have seen him. I have visited the cave and I have left my gifts, but like them, I appear to be an unworthy subject of his solitude.
Well, what's that? The flashlight down there? How do I get down there then? I mean, I'll try and scoot it. Scoot, scoot, scoot. Oh. Ah, bollocks. No scooting that one then. Never mind. No jumping. Well, I hope I can get back up, because if not, I think I'll walk up there. I mean, I was expecting a little bit more interaction. A little bit, tell me what the hell I'm meant to be doing. I will get back to Core Lot as well. It's another one where I have no fucking clue what I'm meant to be doing.
Those islands in the distance, I am sure, are nothing more than relics of another time, sleeping giants,
what islands?
somnambulist gods laid down for a final dreaming. I wash the sand from my lips and grip my wrist ever more tightly. My shaking arms will not support my fading diaries.
Alright. Well, since you don't have a name, I'm gonna call you Tom. For no other reason, that's the first name that came to my head. It seemed like a good, fair, seafaring name. Tom. Again, Tom, I'd love to know what the fucking hell we're doing, because, you know. So far, you haven't given me a lot to go from.
Reading Donnelly by the weak afternoon sunlight, he landed on the south side of the island, followed the path to the bay and climbed the mount. He did not find the caves, and he did not chart the north side. I think this is why his understanding of the island is flawed, incomplete. He stood on the mount and only wondered momentarily how to descend, but then he didn't have my reasons.
What? Am I meant to be exploring? Is this why my whole idea of this island is flawed? Because I haven't explored the caves in the north side of the island? How do I even know it's the north side of the island? I'll tell you how. Because there's jack shit on. There's no compass. No nothing. There's no sun. I can't even see if I'm
when
going to...
someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
Okay.
We are not like Lot's wife, you and I. We feel no particular need to turn back. There's nothing to be seen if we did. No tired old man parting the cliffs with his arms. No gifts or Bibles laid out on the sand for the taking. No tides turning or the shrieking gulls overhead. The bones of the hermit are no longer laid out for the taking. I have stolen them away to the guts of this island, where the passages all run to black, and where we can light each other's faces by their strange luminescence.
Okay. You tell me not to turn around. And there's nothing down here. Is that what you're telling me? There's a boat over there. Is that my boat? I mean, I'm guessing I'm going towards that cave, though. Did see some flashing light over there. I'm intrigued.
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton.
You met me?
We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
How dare you, sir? I am not old. Just because I've hit the 40 mark does not mean...
I find myself increasingly unable to find that point where the hermit ends and Paul and I begin. We are woven into a sodden blanket, stuffed into the bottom of a boat to stop the leak and hold back the ocean. My neck aches from staring up at the aerial. It mirrors the dull throb in my gut where I am sure I've begun to form another stone. In my dreams, it forms into a perfect representation of Lot's wife, head over her shoulder, staring along the motorway at the approaching traffic in a vacuum of fatalistic calm.
What's this shit? What's all this about? Is there nothing down here? You literally brought me down here for nothing. I'm not old. How dare you suggest such a thing? I got music now. I guess I'll go this way. I don't know. I mean, some of these walking sims, you kind of get where you're going. And others like this, you're just left to wander. And there are your own thoughts behind you, and you get time to think. And which, for the casual player, may bore. But I'm willing to give it a shot. This could be filled with intrigue and twists and turns that anybody knows is going to happen. But who knows? Until we get into it, I'm just heading towards that radio tower.
I dreamt I stood in the center of the sun, and the solar radiation cooked my heart from the inside.
You wouldn't have even
my
met
teeth
it.
will curl and my fingernails fall off into my pockets like loose change. If I could stomach, I'd eat, but all I seem capable of is salt water. Were the livestock still here, I could turn feral and gorge. I'm as emaciated as a body on a slab, opened up for a premature source of death.
Livestock?
I've rowed to this island in a heart without a bottom, all the bacteria of my gut rising up to sing to me.
Okay. Don't know what livestock you're seeing. I'm not seeing any, to be honest. I haven't seen anyone apart from you, an empty island, a cave with some shit, and it would have a flashlight on it and told me to apparently go there. There's nothing there. And lots of vegetation. And we can't survive on this. So I guess I'll just keep on walking. Walk for 500 miles, walk for 5,000 miles, who knows? Just keep walking. How are you lot doing anyway? You alright? Keeping alright? That was a chapter?
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome break services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
It's down here. I could go that way. There's a light down there. I can see it flashing. Maybe that's where I'm heading to. Just head for the flashing lights. We're walking to go have a look at these boats. Yeah, I hope you lot are keeping okay. Valerie, how you doing, my friend? You keeping alright? Apologies, I haven't mentioned the last couple of days. See how you doing. But if you're watching, please let me know how you're doing. Drop me a DM on Discord if you want, or comment. I don't mind. I'm sure everyone else would appreciate it, find out how you're doing. Because I know you've been having a bit of a rough time recently. Okay, I can't jump. Is there any way into the board? Or is that it? And I can't see it. That's a boy. Let's just go this way then. There's obviously nothing. There's probably a shitload to explore on the island. Which I would happily do, but I could end up wandering for hours. Doesn't look like there's anything to collect. I didn't get anything for going to that cave. Kind of achievement wise, so it doesn't really say to go to that. There was little... Must be able to get in there. We'll follow this path. See where it leads to... There's a lot of barbed wire in this island, to be honest. Mr. Narrator, where have you gone? You haven't said anything in a while. I'm getting lonely. Speak to me.
An imagined answer phone message. The tires are flat, the wheel spins loosely, and the brake fluid has run like ink over this map, staining the landmarks and rendering the coastline mute, compromised. Where you saw galaxies, I saw only bruises cut into the cliff by my lack of sobriety.
Neither did he eat nor drink. What the hell is that all about? I'm just wondering if I'll just still keep heading towards the tower. Let's head towards the tower, because I mean that seems to be going backwards. And there's a little path there that I can see now. Over on the side. Which maybe takes us towards the tower, I don't know. I was looking for it, I just thought it would disappear because it was like that point of reference for the first chapter was over. I mean, if there's not many people that live here, this beach is littered in crap. Where's it all come from? I mean, look, exhaust. Where's that exhaust come from? I don't see no cars.
Kidney stones, and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic.
What operation?
Your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Oh, okay. So she's obviously been run over, and now she's a ghost. This guy's apparently got kidney stones, but apparently turned into an island, which I don't really get from that. The fuck is that? Let's go have a look. What are you?
When I first looked into the shaft, I swear I felt the stones in my stomach shift in recognition.
I mean, that's a big hole. It's a big shaft. Let's go to the cottage on the hill. It's a long and winding road. I don't mean to be dropping song lyrics into this, but...
I've begun to climb, away from the sea and towards the center. It is a straight line to the summit, where the evening begins to coil around the aerial and squeeze the signals into early silence. The bothy squats against the mount to avoid the gaze of the aerial. I too will creep under the island like an animal and approach it from the northern shore.
Yeah, alright. I mean, to be fair, that house looks like it's in quite good nick. It's got windows and all sorts. Unsmashed windows like me had. Wouldn't be pedantic about it.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
I mean, one would say where the hell he got it from his goats, but... Oh, okay, they are smashed. Okay, well, looks
When the oil lamps ran out, I didn't pick up a torch, but used the moonlight to read by. When I've pulled the last shreds of sense from it, I will throw Donnelly's book from the cliffs, and perhaps myself with it. Maybe it will wash back up through the caves and erupt from the spring when the rain comes, making its return to the hermit's cave. Perhaps it will be back on the table when I wake. I think I may have thrown it into the sea several times before.
I mean, all right. How do I get over there? Do I go down? There's something in there. So I see me swinging back round again. That's a weird... You might be able to get under there. I don't know. I don't trust it. I want to see if I can go up and over the other side. Must be in there. Unless I can't because there's an invisible wall that will not let me climb up a mountain. Oh look. I can't climb up the mountain. Fine, we'll go down then. Hang on a sec, what's that? It's another one of those do for things. It's another what's the luminescent paint? I'm sure it will all be explained soon. Yeah, so obviously this guy, he's obviously had some kidney stones taken out. What the reference is to making the whole island out of it because he's that big, I'm not too sure. But obviously his wife has been killed by a driver, a drunk driver. And I'm guessing that is Esther. Maybe he's come here for contemplation. And a bit windy. Just a little bit. And a bit of solitary.
What to make of Donnelly, the laudanum and the syphilis? It is clearly not how he began, but I've been unable to discover if the former was a result of his visiting the island or the force that drove him here.
Will I die of a job off
For
there?
the syphilis, a drunk driver smashing his insides into a pulp as he stumbled these paths, I can only offer my empathy. We're all victims of our age. My disease is the internal combustion engine and the cheap fermentation of yeast.
She's drunk. Up. Shut up. I wonder if I could have just dropped off that sub. Maybe. Doesn't seem like fall damage. You see another ship here. You see the spine and the body of it. The carcass. Maybe a whaling boat. The helicopter.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones.
I didn't drop you that far.
I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Am I not the only person on this island then? And you said ascent. This is a descent. Oh, shit!
Donnelly's addiction is my one true constant. Even though I wake in false dawns and find the landscape changing, flowing in constantly through my tears, I know his reaching is always upon me.
Okay. I've dropped down there. Why is there a candle down here? Again, some of this is not making sense. However, looking at this, maybe I might get it done in one playthrough. There's only 4 chapters. I mean, I'm already on chapter 3. Already bioluminescent. Very pretty. There is stalagmites and stalactites over there. What the hell?
I first saw him sat by the side of the road. I was waiting for you to be cut out of the wreckage. The car looked like it had been dropped from a great height. The guts of the engine spilled over the tarmac, like water underground.
I mean, it's gotta be a horrible thing, right? You see someone you love kind of die and something like that. To not be able to do anything. And you kind of stuck. It's always my one worry when my wife and my daughter are out and about that some dickhead's going to drive into them. There's going to be an issue. Always a worry. I know it's always a worry for her because I drive a lot more than she does. Down? Do I go down? Yes? I mean, it seemed like the only way to go. I won't state that you wouldn't be able to climb up here as well because of the algae and the water running down. It'd be extremely slippy, and I find it hard to believe you'd be able to walk this quickly up here. But again, for the purpose of the start, that's beautiful. There are caves like this around the world, don't get me wrong. It would be fantastic to see one in person. Just to see. But there needs to be light for bioluminescence to work. I do want a black light. I'll clarify, the only reason I have a black light was to do some retro brightening of an old Amiga I had. Like I said, the thing I talked about a while back, but yeah, it makes it lovely and bright. There's like hydrochloric acid in it, but careful, careful. Again, this is all algae, right? Be slippy as fuck. We fall off. Rather than not drop again. I just don't get why the candles around. Candles wouldn't be burning. They're like an infinity candle or anything. They're just going to burn out. It's water. It's going to put it out. It's damp in the air. I'd rather just see luminescence all over the place. Maybe there's a secret behind it. Maybe I am the hermit. Maybe I am actually the hermit who left his life because his wife died and he's got kidney stones, and maybe that's the whole point of it. Maybe he seems to be walking very fast at the minute. I mean, this is picking up speed.
I'm traversing my own death throes.
Are we?
The infection in my leg is an oil rig that dredges black muck up from deep inside my bones.
Lovely.
I swallow fistfuls of diazepam and paracetamol to stay conscious. The pain flows through me like an underground sea.
Where the fuck did you get that from? Where the hell have you got diazepam from? There's another thing down there. Yeah, where the hell have you got diazepam from? You never said you got that from a trawler. Doesn't seem right that that's the kind of thing you'd have on a trawler. Maybe paracetamol, maybe some ibuprofen. Worst case, maybe some codeine. Which, not that I'm a drug person, I'm not a druggie of any type of sort, but I'm chewing them down like fucking Smarties at the minute. I will clarify though, it's for the shoulder. More than anything else. And the knee again. The knee's flaring up.
I will hold the hand you offered to me, from the summit down to this well, into the dark waters where the small flowers creep for the sun. Headlights are reflected in your retinas, moonlit in the shadow of the crematorium chimney.
Is that the shaft I was looking at before? Yes, I know it's got... Behold! Damascus... is taken. What the hell is this shit? Okay. Yes, I am having to take codeine. Actually, I have to take some morphine for my away from being city. And it shall be a ruinous heap. Yes, I did have a little bit of morphine left from my knee done a couple of years ago, so I had to take some of that shit last night. Thankfully not too late that I started having hallucinations like I did the first time I ever took it. That shit wasn't good. It's like seeing green shit like this in waves, and it wasn't fun. But codeine, it's fine. I've still got some of that left. I've used all my naproxen, so I'm down to like the hard shit now. However, the knee has started to go, so I'm gonna have to get that fixed again after this. Although, doctor didn't do jack shit last time. Found that out. Not that it'll interest you. Well, it might interest some of you. I don't know how much you want to know about me. I just talk. Just the whole point of it, isn't it? So, yes, we are playing the game, but you get to know a little bit more about me. And hopefully, I get to know a little bit more about you, because, well, I know more about RA now, I obviously know Mark, but it's getting to know people. So, yeah, I had a knee up a while back now. It was in my first year. What year are we on now? So, yeah, last October, so I'd been... I've been on the channel for about a year, I think it was. I don't want to drop down there. No, no! What the fuck? Bed with a lot of money. Maybe I'll just go up. Yes, I had an up on my knee a while ago. Why has he gone black? Man, that's a long way down. It looks like a way out. That's a long fucking way down. Good thing that pool's deep. See how that done? Because I got a tear in one of my muscles of the medial meniscus muscle. Walk faster, damn it. Which the doctor apparently fixed. He didn't, because he looked at a different muscle altogether. What was black and white on an MRI saying the right side was torn. He looked at the left side, said there's nothing wrong with it. Packed me up, sent me on my way. So I'm back to square one again. So I'll be another op. Thankfully it won't prevent me from doing any of this. Might do it for a week. Might do it for weeks. I've got to kind of take it easy, rest the leg and all that crap. But I will be well prepped for that. And it's not going to be for a while. Oh, it's dark. It's not going to be for a while. Because my wife will kill me if I get anything done before we have a break somewhere. Oh, and by break somewhere, I mean like a... not a full holiday.
I sat here and watched two jets carve parallel white lines into the sky. They charted their course, and I followed them for 21 minutes until they turned off near Sanford and were lost. If I were a gull, I would abandon my nest and join them. I would starve my brain of oxygen and suffer delusions of transcendence. I would tear the bottom from my boat and sail across the motorways until I reached this island once again.
And I guess I'm just following the candles now, to be honest, but... shortcut! I'm just wondering if there are kind of... because I've been finishing each of these chapters, I'm just wondering if there are...
Dear Esther, I find each step harder and heavier. I drag Donnelly's corpse on my back across these rocks, and all I hear are his whispers of guilt, his reminders, his burnt letters, his neatly folded clothes. He tells me I was not drunk at all.
Did you kill her? See, I said there'd be a twist somewhere. I said there would be one somewhere. Should have known it was that particular. Should have known it was that particular twist. But the fact that it was you that are the drunk driver, you got pulled out and she was still stuck in. Makes a bit of sense. Don't know who Donnelly is though. Who's Donnelly? Was he the goat herder? So to do with my car, or is this all in my head? My way of coping, and that whole thing of the bed in the water. It's actually the bed that I'm still laid in, hooked up to a drip because.
There were chemical diagrams on the mug he gave me coffee in, sticky at the handle where his hands shook. He worked for a pharmaceutical company with an office based on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. He'd been travelling back from a sales conference in Exeter, forming a strategic vision for the peddling of antacid yogurt to the European market. You could trace the connections with your finger, join the dots, and whole new compounds would be summoned into
Light
activity.
from heaven above. Who is he though? Or, in a further twist, is it the wife was having an affair?
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
Yeah, or, excuse me, itchy nose. Is it she was having an affair with Donovan, or Donnelly, whatever you call him, and it was the fact that you may have been drunk and you were chasing after her in a car with him and you caused the accident and that's why you weren't in it and she died, and that is why he says you carry the guilt.
I will drag my leg behind me. I will drag it like a crumpled hatchback, tires blown and sparking across the dimming lights of my vision. I'm running out of painkillers and am following the flicker of the moon home.
No, you're not.
When Paul keeled over dead on the road to Damascus, they restarted his heart with the jump leads from a crumpled hatchback. It took 21 attempts to convince it to wake up.
What? What the hell's that? Hello? Let me guess, it's going to be gone when I get back over the Brothers Hill. Hello? How do I get up there then? Is there a ramp getting up there? Because I mean that goes that way. Can I get up there? No. But how do I get to go see them then?
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
And as he was proceeding on his journey, he did what? There's definitely someone stood by that light. I ain't imagining that. Whether it was a ghostly apparition, whether it was actually someone on this island, whether it was something else. I must come near to Damascus. There's a lot of biblical stuff at the minute, and he was...
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
Or you're going crazy because you're hallucinating because of all that crap. I don't know. In a way, it's hard to explain. I kind of did expect something like this for this game, but I also didn't, if you get what I mean. I kind of expected.
The stones in my stomach will weigh me down and ensure my descent is true and straight. I will break through the fog of these godforsaken pills and achieve clarity. All my functions are clogged, all my veins are choked. If my leg doesn't rot off before I reach the summit, it will be a miracle. There are 21 connections in the circuit diagram of the anti-lock brakes. There are 21 species of gull inhabiting these islands. It is 21 miles between the Sandford Junction and the turn-off for home. All these things cannot, will not be a coincidence.
Probably is, mate, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, I did expect a walking sim. I did get it, and there's the story behind it, which is meant to be what I'm assuming is quite moving. There is the whole aspect of loss and depression and solidarity and everything else that comes with it. But I don't know. I'd say, have you ever played a game called What Remains of Edith Finch? Now, that game, I mean, it is fantastic. It is a lot about kind of goes into it's the whole family. There's a curse, something that happens. There's depression in it. There's accidents. There are.
He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all. He had not drunk with Donnelly or spat Jakobsen back at the sea. He had not careered across the lost shores and terminal beaches of this nascent archipelago. He did not intend his bonnet to be crumpled like a spent tissue by the impact. His windscreen was not star-studded all over like a map of the heavens. His paintwork etched with circuit diagrams, strange fish to call the gulls away. The phosphorescence of the skid marks lighting the M5 all the way from Exeter to Damascus.
Maybe you can explain what all the Damascus stuff's about. I'm not religious. But yeah, What Remains of Edith Finch is a fantastic game. It's all about the loss of an entire family due to accidents or depression, suicide, and all that stuff. But the gameplay is extraordinary. Each person has their own individual game as such. This is one about flying as a bird. One, he's working in it's like a fish factory, so he's chopping heads off. And literally the game of that particular one is you're literally just chopping off heads of fish, and then you find out he actually potentially lopped his own head off. However, the game itself is fantastic. If you haven't played it, I highly recommend it. I probably won't do it here because the effect isn't as great the second time you play it, as I can imagine. But that's what I kind of expected.
Trails in the air.
All right.
White lines etched into these rocks. Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an aerial, a beacon that they will not forget you. We have always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be safe.
Shit in all these. Don't do anything like this. Again, nothing is as bad as it seems. Always talk this. I mean, I get it, right? Loss is about the hardest emotion you can ever get. You lose someone you dearly love. I don't condone it. I don't think I could ever do it. I couldn't just leave people. I'm not saying he has left people, but you know, we talk about loss quite a bit, and I think so I've been through the depression stage. There's for me personally, as bad as it got, I could have never thought about. I'm probably a bird. I could never think about taking my own life because then it affects everyone else around you. It's not just you. And similarly, you know, I've got 2 daughters, so one's obviously older. Well, my youngest, she's only 11. But I don't think, even if something happened to my wife and it put me on that spiraling edge, I still don't think I could do anything to make her life any worse. But everyone is different. Everyone is strong. They just sometimes lose that thought process. It's hard to talk about these things because everyone deals with it differently. Everything finds things a lot harder than other people. They're influenced more by the way they feel. I personally am quite closed off to emotion. Not for any fault of my own. It is just the way I am built. So I get not so much criticized, but I do to a certain extent, even from my wife, that I can't pick up on how people are feeling. It's not something I have in my brain to be able to do that. I'm very logical. That is how my brain works. If someone says they're okay, I know you've asked 2 or 3 times, but to me, I cannot tell if they're actually telling me the truth or not. I know how I'm meant to feel. My best friend's mom died a year ago. I was upset, don't get me wrong. I was very upset because she's like a second mother. But it's that preconception that you should feel exactly how other people feel at times. And although I get how he felt, and I was upset for them, and I was upset for myself for losing her as well, I deal with things entirely differently. So whereas they may have cried, it may have been a point for me where I kind of not put a wall up. I'm not saying I do that, but it's very hard for me to relate to people like that, or people when they are like that, should I say. And similarly, if people like to talk about something and they're quite tight and they need to talk, I am not that type of person that can pick it up straight away. I need someone to tell me what the issue is, and then I will talk it through with them. I made them talk it through logically, but that's my way of dealing with individual people. I'm not an emotional person. So every time I look over at my wife and there's a sad bit in a film or there's a sad bit in a TV program, she'll be blaring her eyes out and I'll be rolling my eyes. I just don't get it. But everybody is different, don't get me wrong. So for me, yes, I couldn't, if there were people around, I couldn't leave them because of that. However, I know people do it, and it becomes too much. And I keep saying on every type of game I play like this, I always say it. There are people around that will want to talk, who are willing to talk, who are willing to listen. And sometimes that is all it needs. So if you are that person who is struggling, and it's easy for me to say this, and it can be a lot harder for you to do it. But first off, don't wait for that one person to reach out to you. Take that opportunity to ask someone if they have time to talk, if they're willing to listen, if they're willing to talk through what you may be feeling about. Even if it is someone like me that doesn't do emotion well, even that talking to someone can help them, and it can make them rationalize what they're doing, and that can also help. And if you're on the flip side of it, if you are not that person but you see people and they are struggling, reach out, ask them if they're okay. There is slight changes you can tell now. We did see a video at work not a couple of years ago, which had two guys in a football match, right? One of them seemed down all the time, one of them seemed happy all the time. And you can see the guy on the right who looked miserable all the time. He was meant to look like the one who had a problem, who needed to talk, who needed to do everything else. And it comes around at the end of it, and it's the guy who outwardly is overly happy. And obviously he took his own life, but you can never tell what people are actually feeling on the inside unless you get them to open up. You can't just look at someone and expect them to be happy all the time. It doesn't work. So what I'm saying is, just reach out. No matter what it is, get grief off your chest. You need to speak to someone, go speak to someone. Do not be ashamed of it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. You need to speak to people. I've done it myself. And as a last note, just because I know we said it before, that I know that RA, his father passed just before Christmas. He's been dealing with a hard time. But again, even because he's on the Discord, which is down below if you do want to join it, I messaged him to see how he was, and I actually added him, and I do try and message just every now and then just to see how he's doing, because it is just a friendly reaching out helps. And it's not just because he's one of the longest subscribers. That's not it. It's the fact that I could see, although our body is written down, I could see that he was having a hard time. If he'd come to me in person and said it, I'm not saying that RA, but I may not have been able to speak as well as I can do just writing it to say how I feel. And that's just me as well. I find it a lot easier to write it down how I feel rather than actually talk about it. It's always been my downfall. But if this relates, the link is in the description below to this game if you want to try it yourself. I presume there are a lot of other secrets on this game to do. I think how long to beat it was about 2 to 3 hours if you want to see everything. I don't know how many different paths there are to take, but I just want to try and get this one done. I probably won't come back to it. Personally, for me, there's nothing else that'll bring me back to the game. But the game itself, you know, it's interesting. I enjoyed it. I loved the bioluminescence down at the cave, the whole, not simply one direction part of it, but it was a good game. So if you do want to try it, link, like I said, is in the description down below. So do drop a like and comment, let me know what you thought of it. If you do want to talk, just do shout up. And do please let me know how you're doing. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification. Videos come out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 GMT time. But for now, this has been Dear Esther. I've been Smith16. I thank you for joining me, folks. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe.